Concrete Genie, a beautiful masterpiece of a game meant to be played by all, or a failing game with one too many brushstrokes? Let's find out. Oh, and one more thing. Welcome to the night shift. Let's get you guys clocked in. How's it going, everybody? It is I, your shift lead Logan, and I'm here to talk you through Concrete Genie. And I gotta say, this is a really good game. I, I wasn't for sure what I was into when I started to play this game because I had seen it once or twice before when it first came out in 2019, and I was a little skeptical of it. But I'm glad that this was one of the free to play games this month here in February. It really gave me a chance to see it and appreciate it for what it was. So, if you haven't seen our reviews here on the night shift before, then let me kind of give you a quick explanation. Here on the night shift, when we do a review, we judge a game by four categories: story, gameplay, audio and visuals, and any bugs or issues that we ran across while we played. So that will help us get our score of 1 to 10 at the end of the video here. So please stay till the end of the video so you can find out what we scored Concrete Genie. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in here and find out what is Concrete Genie. So, of course, it wouldn't be a review if everyone didn't know what it was. So let's get a quick synopsis of what Concrete Genie is. So Concrete Genie is a game about painting. You play as a young boy named Ash, a budding artist who is also subjected to a constant stream of bullying. When his tormentors steal his sketchbook and scatter his work, Ash sets off to find the pages littered throughout the rundown part of town called Denska. And that's a pretty vague like description of this game, but it's not wrong. Ash goes around and he looks for these paintings that he's worked on. And as you play this game and collect these paintings, you are able to do more. Because like the description said, this game is all about painting. So you have this magical, it's almost like a 3 foot. I don't even know how tall you are in this game. Let's say a 2 foot brush because he's a kid, so probably 3 or 4 foot tall. So, but you paint, and you're painting away the darkness. And to me, it's such a nice story to just kind of relax to. For me, this was one of those games where you just kind of, after getting all in the nitty gritty of like maybe you played some battle royales, maybe you played a heavy story game that just like really weighed on you, and you needed a palate cleanser game, basically something to just kind of relax. This is kind of one of those games. I mean, yeah, this game has action. Yeah, this game has some stuff going for it. But ultimately, at its core, it's all about creativity. It's all about making the town beautiful again, making the darkness go away and bringing the light back into this town. And I vibe with it on so many levels, and it's just an interesting story. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I played this all the way through and that I know everything that happens in the story. It's a good story, but it's not like one that kept me sitting here wanting to play more and more and more and more. Like I had to know what happened next. But it is one of those stories where I'll come back to it every once in a while just to see what's going on in this world. Now, as for gameplay, it's pretty simplistic. I mean, on the screen right now, you'll see me kind of struggle a little bit, and that's because instead of using analog sticks, which you can do later in the game. It was using the motion controls, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. It really messes it up, and you can still use motion control later, uh, and you use it later, but not nearly as heavily. I just know that at the beginning here, I really seemed to struggle with it, especially with the painting. But the gameplay, ultimately at its core, you're jumping, you're painting, you're designing characters, and those characters will help you through certain things, and they'll want things, and so you'll paint those things in their area so that you'll make them happy. And that'll give you super paint, which you can paint the darkness away with super paint. My only complaint with the gameplay aspect of the super paint was I wish it kind of had said at some point. Maybe it did, and I just somehow missed it. But I don't remember it ever saying that super paint wasn't a special paint. I assumed super paint was like it was going to glamour everything up, and like I didn't need to change anything. I was not aware that once you use super paint, whatever you had last selected was what the super paint was. I was like, oh crap, I just painted apples all over this building. So that's a little, I mean, me just being a little nitpicky on that. But really, aside from that, the gameplay is very simple and basic, and it doesn't need to be overly complicated for this kind of game because, again, the story is where you're at, and your audio and visuals is where a lot of your what this game really focuses on. But we'll get to audio and visual later because I still want to focus on the gameplay here. There are other things that, at least in my time that I played, that I saw. So, other things gameplay wise, I noticed was like that it was smooth, and it was one of those things when you do a simple gameplay system, you want to make sure it's spot on, and I feel like they did. You're able to climb and move around the city fairly efficiently. Not to mention your character painting abilities. You can paint different things, use them differently. I know I when I was painting, I tried to actually be creative and paint actual murals that I would want to see as I went by because I felt like it would be interesting to see that as I walked by because whatever you paint stays there. At least from what I saw, I kept walking away and I'd come back and it was still there. So I, but I enjoyed that. I felt like it was relaxing and fun. There are bullies in this town that obviously, like I read in the synopsis there, it is the reason why you're looking for your paintings. And when you go around, they'll literally be flying around. When you collect those paintings, you get new pieces or like maybe backgrounds or character like pieces, like I was saying. So like horns or tails or other pieces that you can use to add to your characters to add a little bit more personality. And part of that is going through the town, you'll see the bullies and you don't want to get caught by them. So there's an instance later where I had a page that was right by it, like it was flying away and it flew right into the bullies. And so there's this mechanic where you literally basically just call out the bullies and they go to chase you. Kind of. I mean, typically you want to do that when you're on a building so they're looking for you. So they'll go look for you and then you can go get your items. I really enjoyed that mechanic because it's a it's a way to keep tension but also be like, yeah, if you do it right, you're never going to get in trouble. You're never going to have issues. So I mean, for something so simplistic, it was done well, and I really enjoyed it. But I think where Concrete Genie really and truly, honestly shines is its audio and visuals. And I know some people are going to look at this game and go, "You think the audio and visuals are good?" Like, dude, it's 29. It was 2019 when it was made. It's 2021 now. You really think that's good? Hear me out just for a minute, okay? I know this is not top tier realism, but in no means do I think that's what they were going for. I felt like when I played this, I kept having nostalgia throwbacks to like when I was a little kid and like they would read me stories out of little picture books and like the characters and they would like every page that was the next one they'd move and it feels like that but brought to life. And so the style just for me brings a sense of calm and nostalgia. And I know it's not always going to for everyone, but like even like kids like that go to play this, I feel like they're going to be like it's a nice calming game. And yeah, I know I said there's darkness and stuff in there, but I mean, like I said, the visuals in this are so like to compare it to like Control, where like it's a very dark and grungy game, and it's very, you know, it is kind of like a spooky game kind of deal. It's completely different. This does it in a way that's not so. I'm trying to think of the right word to say here. I mean, like right there, you can see the darkness. Yeah, it's clearly darkness and it's kind of spooky, but in a way, it's like spooky enough for a child and not gonna like full on terrify them. And that's what I'm where I'm at on it. For me, this is such a lovely art style. It's bright, it's vibrant, it it has a touch of realism, but just enough to keep you there. And it has such this lovely art style. I just enjoy it so much. And I know not everybody's gonna like it, but the like character movement I thought was kind of interesting because I kept going back and it reminded me back when I played Spider-Man Miles Morales. It it reminded me of that because when you would go to the Into the Spider-Verse suit, you could put a mod on that changed the movement and it kind of like not to say it glitched it out, but like it it added a frame rate kind of a different frame rate so it wasn't like super silky smooth like real life kind of deal. And I think that only enhances the story because again like I said I feel like the story is supposed to feel like a storybook and it feels like that. Really, I just feel like if you've not played this game and just for the simple fact of the the visuals don't aren't top tier, I really do think you're missing out because this game is visually beautiful in its way. Now, that being said, we've talked about visuals, but what about audio, right? I really enjoyed the soundtrack. It's very subtle and it's very it's very orchestral, and I really enjoyed that. I'm trying to think of what I could like kind of compare it to, but I keep going back to those like kid games or kid books, because again, like I said, whenever I played this, that's all I felt was like nostalgia. It was, children books kind of deal, and genuinely that's how it felt. Now, the music, gorgeous to me. Now the monsters, meh. I I feel like the monsters could have had a little bit better sounds. I don't know. I like Luna, the main monster, which you paint obviously at the beginning here. She sometimes comes in where you kind of hear like each individual growl, and then sometimes it's like it's all muddled and it's really weird. So that's one thing, but aside from that, like the voice acting is really enjoyable. So I like I said, I think audio and visuals is really honestly where this game truly and honestly shines. It just really does. Now, we've hit three, right? We've hit story, we've hit gameplay, now, and then we've hit audio and visual. So now, what about glitches and bugs? I did hit a few. Not a lot, but a few. The few that I did hit, I do remember very clearly, were that sometimes when you switch to paint mode and you would go to paint, if you pushed it too quickly, it would not register. And so then you wouldn't paint, and so you would move, and it'd be like, oh, well, never mind, I guess I gotta go again. And that was always a glitch. The other, the other thing was I had an instance where one of my, I don't know if it, I'm just gonna call them creatures because technically they're not monsters because they're good, right? But I had one of them where they were asking me for something in their environment to make them happy. Like you can kind of see here, you're making Luna happy by painting what she wants. Well, I had an instance where a monster wanted an apple. Well, I painted the apple. The monster kept asking for an apple. So I painted another apple. Nope. So I kept painting apples and it never changed. So I don't know what ended up happening there, but it just was, it seemed weird to me. Um, any other glitches? I'm trying to think. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any more glitches or bugs that I ran across. So, I mean, I know that's pretty short and simple, I think, for glitches and bugs, which is good, I think. So, big question. I've been telling you guys from the get go here, I enjoyed Concrete Genie. Is this a game for everybody? No. By no means am I saying that. Heck, even here on the night shift crew, there are several members that looked at this game and played a little bit of it, and they were like, it's okay, but it's not my cup of tea. And that's fine. This is not an everybody's game. It is a specific audience that's not going to be for everybody. It's going to be like a kids thing, and it's going to be like a if you enjoy this kind of thing. See, for me, I don't I can't play these kinds of games 24/7 or like binge it and really be into it. But it is always kind of nice whenever like especially now that we're in an age where it's like battle royale, battle royale, battle royale. Here, let's compete. Let's hardcore game, right? That for for me that's so exhausting and draining. Like I feel energy wise like I'm exhausted when this is all said and done. And so when I when I feel like I still want to play something, but I'm tired of the competition and tired of the feeling like I'm run down, this is something I can come to and play this and feel mellow. Like I'm not, there's no pressure for me to be the best at anything. This is all about creating. This is all about getting those creative juices going and not worrying about anything else. And that's what I love about this game. So, by far, if you're a avid lover of beautiful artwork or creating wonderful pieces of artwork, or if you're just looking for a free game that has a decent story to it, check out Concrete Genie. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Like I said, it's a really good game. Uh, all right, so where do we score it, right? So let's do the rundown. Story. From what I've played of it, I really enjoyed the story. It was interesting. I was involved. I didn't necessarily I wasn't necessarily like hooked. I didn't necessarily have to go like I have to play more. I have to know more. I have to know more. So I'll do I'll do a 5 for story. I think it's simple enough that kids would understand what's going on, but I think it's complex enough that it will be interesting to anybody. So then, what about the gameplay? I think the fact that it's so simple that anybody can play it, and I think the fact that it's, you know, still done well is a good sign. I'll give the gameplay, I think, a good 6.5. Audio and visuals, right? We got that next, and I feel like this is where this game truly shines. I feel like it gets an 8 in my book. I feel like the music just sets the mood for the entire game and is constantly a recurring thing throughout it that helps you relax or maybe makes you feel a certain way throughout the game when you need to. But then I also feel like the art style of this entire game is just something that I feel like I just you just can't ignore. So I feel like the art and audio alone gives this game I gotta say an 8. I think it's just it's really good. So then you got an 8, a 6.5, and a 5, right? Overall score, let's say mm, I'm feeling a 6.5, maybe even a 7. I'll go 7. Let's do 7. I think that's a happy medium. I mean, we had an 8 for audio visuals, and a 5 for story, and a 6.5. So 7 sounds good to me. Well, that's all I got for Concrete Genie. Like I've said several times throughout the course of this video, is a wonderful game. Be sure to check it out. You've only got a couple days left while it's a free game of the month here in February. And then next month, we're getting more free games. So be sure to check out our channel because, of course, we're going to cover those. And, of course, if you like what we're doing, be sure to leave us a like, comment on our stuff. We love it when you guys, contact us and, talk with us and let us know what you want to see us doing. Let us know if you like what we're doing or if you want us to change something or maybe there's a game you want us to play. We're all open to that kind of stuff. Also, please, if you enjoy what we're doing or if you want to help us out, be sure to hit that subscribe button and share this with all your friends. We are a small channel right now and we're always looking to grow. So if you like what we're doing, hit that subscribe button and share this with all your friends. That's all I can say. But what I do know is that next week is going to be an interesting week because I'll be honest, I don't know what we're going to do in terms of a review because I checked in on the state of play today from PlayStation and I did not see anything on free games to play, so I'm not entirely sure as to what we have coming our way. But I will tell you for a fact that we will be continuing our Resident Evil 7 series and we will have some Let's Play Monday. So stay tuned and be sure to check it out. That's all I got for you guys, so I'll see you guys next time.